Hey, good morning. This is Joran Oppelt in St. Petersburg, Florida, and I was particularly moved this morning by Jon Stewart's uncharacteristically unfunny monologue on The Daily Show about racism, and I was moved to share my own thoughts. It was weighing on my chest and on my heart, and I feel that it's appropriate to get it off. I think that racism is at its fundamental level ignorance, right? It's a sense of otherness from other people that is based and founded in the egocentric and ethnocentric fear found at the traditional and modern value systems. It's a fear for one's own survival. It's a fear of the loss of one's own values. And unfortunately, it's a fear that is passed down from generation to generation. I think that racism is also a symptom of these traditional and modern value systems, and that it's the cause of a lot of suffering, not only in the individual who harbors this unnecessary fear and hatred for another, but also the cause of much suffering here at home in the United States and around the world, for the societies that it arises in and shows up in. I don't think it's unreasonable to think that we can eradicate it. And if not eradicate it, then at the very minimum begin to shift our center of gravity away from these outdated, outmoded, archaic ideals. Ideals not only for ourselves, but for our communities and the world we live in. I think that we do that by fighting. I think that we do that by fighting against the mainstream media or any institution or structure that exists at these traditional modern levels or value systems and continues to encourage and reinforce that fear. We need to continue to call them out on it, and be vocal about it, and fight back, and insist that we expect more, especially from journalism and storytelling, because I know the story that's told, that I see presented on screens and in feeds, it isn't my story, you know. And their responsibility is to tell our story well, and I don't think they're doing a good job of that. Tell everybody's story well, and I don't think they're doing a good job of that. I think that we can also do more to live by example, by embodying and enacting the principles of nonviolence, compassion, inclusivity. We need to really embody and enact these principles and these values and these attitudes in our own lives, because peace begins at home, and it begins with us. I also think that we can get better at not remaining silent when we see these injustices in the world, being vocal about them, being vocal about our outrage or our distaste or our disgust, not remaining silent when we witness not just injustice around us, but when we witness racism being handed down to a child in our presence, I think that it is completely appropriate to be vocal in that moment, to stand for what is right, to fight for these higher and more inclusive values. I think that we can do more as individuals to spread that attitude of love. And I think that it's on us to do that, and I think now more than ever we need to start. So, I want to offer this morning, this affirmation, this prayer for the world, that we be our ideal selves. That we greet each other with open hearts and a warm embrace, with a love for all beings in all worlds. That we greet each other with an ear for each other's stories, with a shoulder for each other's sorrow and suffering, and that we greet each other with kindness. I also affirm today that we recognize the commonalities and the connectedness that we all have. And we recognize that in each other in each and every moment. And we do the work and the practice to continue to be aware of that connectedness in every moment. I also affirm that we will be the ideal community for each other, that we may grow and flourish and support each other through sowing the seeds of cooperation and collaboration and co-creation, that we may build a new world that sees higher and broader and more inclusive values, more goodness, more beauty, more truth for all beings in all worlds. I hope you all have a beautiful day. I know that I will, here in beautiful St. Petersburg, Florida. And I hope that we are able to bring a little bit of this peace and harmony and love out in our hearts, out as we step out and greet and step into our day, and as we make eye contact and connect with all the people in our lives, in our cities, and our communities around the world, that we begin to do that today. And that we hold a vision for the world that sees us all just held in a loving embrace and connected with each other and with a love for one another. And that begins with a deep, meaningful, shared understanding about one another. And that sharing our wisdom and our understanding with one another will lead to the building of that new world. So have an amazing day. Step out into the world with that intention, and I know that we'll see it.